Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Tennessee Teacher of the Year webinar part one, overview of the Teacher of the Year program. I am Sarah Brown. I'm the Senior Coordinator of Educator Recognition. I also am the Communications Coordinator for my team. I am on the Educator Effectiveness team in the Office of Academics. So the first thing that we want to really go over is our disclaimer for generative AI tools. I am going to read this very deliberately, so please follow along. So the state of Tennessee does not currently permit the use of generative AI tools such as Otter in meetings hosted on state resources. Meetings with contractors, vendors, and subrecipients are not public meetings and may involve discussion of protected state data. Generative AI tools are not adequately regulated and are designed to train on data that is collected and may misrepresent data or release protected data to the general public. While the state supports your desire to maintain documentation of the meeting and what you learn, please respect our decision to safeguard information and do not attempt to use tools such as these. If you choose to use a tool such as this, the state will block that tool from the meeting. So no bots, no AI, no bots, anything like that. I'm going to move onwards to our agenda. So for this meeting, our agenda, we're going to begin with the benefits of participation in the programs. We then will talk about and we'll do an overview of the selection process. After that, we'll do a panel discussion with some former Tennessee Teachers of the Year. So you will have an opportunity to talk to a couple former Tennessee Teachers of the Year. And then after that, we'll do a Q&A session. So our program goals, the goal of the Tennessee Teacher of the Year program is to recognize and celebrate the wealth of excellent teachers that exist across the state. We applaud teachers who devote their professional lives to enriching the lives of Tennessee students and who demonstrate exceptional gains in student achievement. Our learning objectives for this session: following the completion of this training, learners will be able to identify the benefits of participating in the Tennessee Teacher of the Year program and understand the phases of selection for the Tennessee Teacher of the Year program. A few norms. Please remain on mute throughout the session until asked to unmute, and then we'll let you share. If you do have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. With that, let's go straight to the chat. Quickly, if you could answer, what is one thing you hope to gain from this session? Clear understanding of the process, knowledge of the process, how the teachers are chosen, the cookies. I wish, man, I don't even have any at my house. Completion of paperwork, understanding the process and the timeline. Okay, so lots of processes. Process. Additional insight from teachers who've experienced this before. I have some phenomenal teachers that will be here, are here, that will be here to talk to you. I just closed my, in fact, one of them is trying to get in to this meeting and cannot. There's one of them. Okay. All right, so let's move forward. So The benefits of participating. While the application process requires a little bit of time and attention to detail, there's many benefits to participating in this process. At the local level, you'll be recognized and celebrated by colleagues, leaders within your school, district, and community for the hard work and passion that you bring to Tennessee students each and every day. In some communities, school and district teachers of the year winners or even receive recognition and awards underwritten by local sources. If you're named as one of the 9 region level finalists, you will have the opportunity to serve on the Tennessee Teacher Advisory Council. Again, it is a group that I run. It's a group of educators from across the state who use their expertise and experience to inform the department's programs and initiatives. We do some really pretty exciting things, and my teachers, that my former teachers of the year that are on the call, will be able to talk to you about that as well. Additionally, all 9 finalists are recognized and honored at the annual Educators of Excellence. I went too fast. The annual Excellence in Education Awards event banquet, which is held in Nashville. We have had these at some pretty amazing places. We've done some at Belmont's Fisher Center, the Loveless Cafe. We've done some things at the Parthenon. So it's always an exciting event to come to. So if you're named as the Tennessee Teacher of the Year, you'll have the opportunity to represent Tennessee in the National Teacher of the Year program, which includes a year of all expenses paid travel and professional development opportunities with the state teachers of the year from across the country. There we go. My computer is not wanting to shift slides. So the Teachers of the Year selected competitively through 5 cycles. At the most basic level, there is the school level. You then would compete at the district level. Then it comes to the region level, and then grand divisions, and then the state level. And there are 3 grade bands: the pre-K and elementary, middle, and high school. And how pre-K and elementary and middle is defined based upon how your district defines those grades, as it is different across the state. That is a frequent question I get. At the school and district level selection, so to participate in the Tennessee Teacher of the Year process, you're first going to have to be selected at the school and or district Teacher of the Year. Each school and district selects their Teacher of the Year representatives through a unique process. Not one district does it the same way. So if you're interested in learning more about your local process, please contact your principal or district instructional supervisor. Each district is eligible to nominate 3 educators to participate in the region level selection process, with 1 educator representing. Hold up. My computer is trying to both go like push forward on the slide at the same time and also not let me do it. So again, at those 3 grade bands, it's pre-K and elementary, middle, and high school. The final district nominations this year were due on December 23rd. So if your district has not reported them to me by December 23rd, if the districts have not reported to me by December 23rd, then they are not eligible to participate. Let's go back to our chat. True or false? You must be nominated at the district level to submit a state level application. Good job, folks. That is true. You have to be nominated at the district level to submit a state level application. All right. So then after that, after you've been nominated at the district level, you then complete part 1 of the application. that should have been sent. If you are on this call, you should have received that application at this point. I sent that to you back in December. That is due on February 3rd, 2025, because that's the year we're in, 2025, by midnight, 11:59 p.m., in order to continue to the region level selection process. You can find part 1 on the Tennessee Teacher of the Year website, also in the email that I sent to you. The part 1 application contains basic information about yourself and your school, 3 written response questions, and an optional opportunity to submit up to 3 pages of supporting documentation. After all applications are submitted by, after all the applications are submitted, here it goes going forward again, by February 3rd, they will be scored by a scoring committee that is hired. And you should know the decision for moving onward by April 1st. There will be 27 region level semifinalists across the state, and all of those applicants will be notified, hopefully by April 1st. So if you're selected as a region level semifinalist, the Tennessee Teacher of the Year coordinator, me, will provide the Part 2 application to you via email by that April 1st date. Part 2 applications are to be submitted by May 12th. The Part 2 application contains 2 new written response questions, an opportunity to submit additional supporting documentation, a professional resume, 3 letters of recommendation, a professional biography, a video response, which is a fairly new addition in the last couple of years, and a professional headshot. For the professional headshot, you can use a yearbook photo. So don't worry about trying to go get a brand new one if you feel the need. The entire Part 2 application is going to also be scored by a statewide scoring committee who will identify 1 finalist in each of the regions for a total of 9 region level finalists. And then all applicants will be notified of that application decision in June. I don't want to give you a date because I'm not sure exactly, but it will be in June, probably early June. All right, so then at the state level, the 9 region level finalists will complete an interview process with me. The interview will be held virtually via Teams. During the interview, you'll be asked several questions regarding professional growth, teaching philosophy, and achievements. The finalists will be asked to share a prepared 2-minute speech that question will be given in advance of the interview. And then the statewide scoring committee, again, will use the application and the interview components to identify 1 teacher to represent each of the East, Middle, and West Grand Divisions, as well as then the 1 educator to represent the entire state as Tennessee Teacher of the Year. The Tennessee Teacher of the Year will then move on to represent, good gracious, this is just wanting me to go faster than I'm going. The Tennessee Teacher of the Year will then move on to represent Tennessee in the National Teacher of the Year program administered by the Council for Chief State School Officers, which we reference as CCSSO more frequently. So if you hear us say that, that's what that organization is. With that, I'm now actually going to turn this over to 2 of my very favorite people in the whole world. We have Morgan Rankin, who is the 2021-22 Tennessee Teacher of the Year. She is this year teaching 2nd grade at Southside Elementary School, and she is in Johnson City Schools. Correct me if I'm wrong, Morgan. And then we also, I believe, maybe have Missy Testerman, who is the 2023-24 Tennessee Teacher of the Year. She is also the 2024 National Teacher of the Year. And she is from Rogersville Elementary School and Rogersville City Schools. So with that, I am going to actually hand this over and let them tell you a little bit about their experience in the process, a little bit about themselves, what they do, how the process has impacted their careers, and really their favorite part of all of this, and even a little advice. So I'm going to try to pause my show, see if it'll stop going. And then I'm going to stop talking and hand it over to Morgan, and then see if Missy is actually in here. I saw Morgan pop in. So, oh, there's Missy. Morgan and Missy. Morgan. Hi, Morgan. Hey. Hey. Okay. I'm going to let you all go. I'm really going to stop talking now.
All right. Sarah asked me to do this, and I was like, I don't know if I remember. 2022 feels like so long ago. Teacher of the Year. So during my year of service, a couple of the cool things I got to do for the state was I got to represent the teachers subcommittee. I was the chair for TISA, and that was a really interesting experience. I learned a ton. One of the ways this experience has really shaped me is I have a much stronger understanding of the role of our education system and how like politics and I know that sometimes feels like an icky word when we're talking about education, but just how like social change in education can be really slow, but how important it is to know all of the components that go into that. So I have a much deeper understanding. And I feel a lot more comfortable kind of working within those systems. Like I really feel a lot more comfortable occupying space, talking to politicians, talking to representatives about education and telling my students stories. That is an opportunity that you all have even now with the level of recognition that you have. This is your chance to tell your students stories. You are their voice. You may be the only voice that some of them have, and you will have some ears listening to you throughout this year of service that you may never have in any other way, shape, or form without this opportunity. And that's precious. Like as a teacher, you know how frustrating it can be and how often you feel like you are not heard and your students are not seen. So this is that I think is probably the biggest impact. Or in terms of what I learned anyways. So during your year of service, CCSO is probably it's your guiding body. You get to travel, I think it's 3 times now. It was 4 times for my year. One of the events has been moved to virtual. And you get to meet and network with all the other state teachers of the year. These people are like my best friends. Like I have someone I can go stay with at every single state, including Hawaii and Alaska. And there are also representatives for DoD schools and all out like Puerto Rico, and I can't remember them all now. I'm looking uninformed. I'm so sorry. Trying to think what else. In terms of impacting my career, I mean, it's opened some doors that I don't know that I would have otherwise. I get an opportunity to represent the state of Tennessee in a variety of ways. You get contacted by organizations to come and keynote and give speeches, which feels weird. But I've really tried to lean into all these opportunities and step outside my comfort zone a lot of the times. I'm trying to think, what else? I think those are my biggies. CCSO is pretty cool though. You get to participate in some really cool professional development. Those other teachers from the other states, some of the smartest humans I've ever met in my life. They teach all sorts of amazing things. Like if I need to talk to someone at the high school level who teaches this, that, or the other thing, if I need someone who is a history teacher who knows all about Asian and Pacific Islander history, like, and how representation of that specific group matters and how to help students who are part of those cultural groups. I've got someone. It's just amazing. It's a really cool experience. It's well worth it. It's crazy. It's chaos. I had a baby in the middle of my year of service. And it was challenging. I'm not going to lie. It has even now added a level of chaos to my life. But there's one of my levels of chaos piping in the background, sorry. But it is well worth it. And even my husband was agree, even though he was the one picking up all the slack at home. But if anyone has any questions, I'd love to answer. Or Missy.
Well, if there are no questions, I'll hop in. It's really hard to follow Morgan. She pretty much did an overview of all of the good parts because she's so wonderful. But for me, the best part of participating in this entire process was the ability to be on the Teacher Advisory Council. That is for the top 9, the ones who represent each of the core regions. And so now I have the past 2 years worth of non-finalists, so 18 of us across the state. I have access to people who are, invested in the same types of things I am. It's amazing how many times I send a text message and ask, what does your system do for this? How does your system do this? So it helps you form this unbelievable network with other really strong teachers across the state. And the activities that you get to do through TAC are amazing. You get to interact, like Morgan said, with legislators. You get to go to a state board meeting. I went last year, ended up standing at the podium on more than one question because they were asking input from the teachers who were there. You get to work with Sarah Brown, and Sarah is marvelous. She does not toot her horn at all, but she should, because she's just incredibly supportive. But what I would like to encourage you to remember as you go through this process, because it's been a couple of years for me, and as a little bit of a disclaimer, I wasn't even going to fill out the application. I came to the first webinar, and like you, I thought, I'm super busy. I teach English as a second language. It was January leading into February. That's WIDA testing time for me. And I wasn't even going to bother until my director, I'm in a very small system, came to me and said, hey, the core region says you haven't turned your application in. And so I said, oh, yeah, I've got to finish it tonight, which really meant I had to go home and do it that night. But I am so thankful for the opportunities that I've had. And I would encourage you to fill out the application, because you're going to learn a lot of things about yourself that are so common to you that you don't give them a second thought. And the important thing to remember is that you were chosen as your district's Teacher of the Year because the people within your district saw you as a leader. They saw all the wonderful things that you do for students and to help students create a successful future for themselves. And that mattered to them. I am the National Teacher of the Year. And so I've done tons of interviews. I do one almost daily. And I was doing a podcast not long ago, and the journalist doing the podcast said, so, wow, you were District Teacher of the Year, then you were State Teacher of the Year, and now you're National Teacher of the Year. That national one has to mean a lot. And so here was my response. My response was, actually, the one that means the most to me was my District Teacher of the Year, because those are the people who saw what I do every single day. They've seen me at my best and they've seen me at my worst, and they still felt like that I was a decent representative for our school system. So take pride in knowing that the people who work with you, the people who actually see you teach, interact with kids, the things that you do for families every single day, those people have put a lot of faith in you, and they trust you to be a great representative for your system. So I would encourage you to fill out the application, learn all about yourself as you do so, and reflect on all the good things that you do for students. Did anyone have any questions?
I was going to say, these two, both of them, they just make me cry every time they talk. They are a wealth of knowledge and wonderful resources. I know Morgan has to bounce in about 2 minutes. But I know if you have any questions, both Missy and Morgan are here. I think Missy Brady can stick around for a few minutes to answer any questions. So please feel free to ask. We're going to practice our wait time for a little bit, and then we can move on when we're ready.
I think in terms of applications, one of the best pieces of advice I got was that this is your opportunity to toot your own horn. Like, this is not a time to be shy. This is not a time to like play down your accomplishments. Like, if you did something, write about it. Even if you had like a co-teacher you were doing it with, or a community organization you were working with, you did that, own that, and talk about how that impacted your students and your colleagues and your community.
I would definitely hop in on that. Whenever Sarah and I were working on my application for the National Teacher of the Year after I was Tennessee Teacher of the Year, in my initial Tennessee Teacher of the Year application, I'd used the word we a whole lot. We did this, my colleagues and I did this. And so one of the times that we were working, Sarah said, I just want to ask you, did you really do this with someone else, or did you do most of the legwork and then tell them that you guys were going to do it? And that was a hard question for me to answer. I think as teachers, we're used to saying, we're used to the teamwork aspect and the we. If someone else helped you, that's great. Say that, like Morgan said. But if you did most of the legwork on it, tell that you did the legwork, and then that you convinced other people to join you because you believed in what it was that you're doing. So like Morgan said, feel free to talk about all the great things that you do. This is one time when it is all about you. Okay. So it's okay for it to be all about you this one time.
We have a question in the chat. It says, what are the most common questions you're asked by those who make decisions for public education? And then the next question, examples of supporting documents. And we'll go to that one too in our next one, but those are the two questions we have in the chat.
Oh, okay. So Christopher, most common questions from people who make policy, it's kind of interesting. The very people who need to hear our input are not always hearing it. So we really have to stretch ourselves out, to offer that opinion. I get questions a lot that are sort of shocking. Particularly the questions I get in Tennessee are very different than the questions on a national scope. On a national scope, I find that people really, really want to know what teachers need and what they can do to support us. On a state scope, there seems to be like a lot of confusion a lot of times about why are teachers so frustrated? Why do you think that teachers are leaving? And we know why teachers are leaving. We're living the experiences that are causing teachers to leave, but those policymakers don't always hear those types of things, and they don't understand that, when you restrict teachers' ability to teach and you make things difficult to for teachers to deliver content, that reflects on our job satisfaction. The other one was about supporting documents. Sarah, did you say you'd answer that in a minute, or you want me to go ahead and
we'll mostly go over that in the next week's webinar, but we can also go over that a little bit too. So
okay, and mine were just very, very basic things. Like I had a couple of photos. Like one of them, I had a link to a newspaper article about something that I did in my district every single year. That was kind of like a school tradition. So don't think it has to be anything incredibly amazing or fantastic. Just, a photo. If you have a link to a newspaper or article or something like that. Mine, I promise you, mine were not outstanding. And I feel like most people's weren't something that was just, incredible. It's just something to basically give a visual to.
Any other questions? Okay. Morgan, I know you've got to go, so thank you so much for hopping on. Okay. Missy, if you can stick around for a few minutes, that would be amazing. We're almost done. Hopefully this thing will move forward. We've done our questions. So any additional resources? So the Tennessee Teacher of the Year website does have some resources. I will hopefully have a guidebook to you hopefully next week. I'm hoping, but we've had some shifts in language, so I've had to do some changing of it. But The information in previous years, if you've gotten a hold of that or your district has a previous year, the information and guidance in the guidebooks hasn't changed on how to answer questions or suggestions on how to answer questions. It's just the dates and some questions later in the later in the process. The Teacher of the Year Applicant Series Webinar 2 is going to be next Wednesday, January 15th, 14th, 15th, it says 15th, from 3:30 to 4:30. I think that's right. Again, I pretty much live in that 3:30 Central Time land, trying to make sure that it's after as many people's school schedules as possible. I don't ever want to be a burden to you. I think Missy will tell you I try really, really hard not to make things harder for you. I try to make sure it is building and supplemental and supportive. And then I will hold office hours. They are extremely informal. It is one of those situations where you can hop in there, ask me a question, and leave. It is not, I'm not presenting. It's just a space where you can hop in and ask me questions. Those are on Mondays, 3:30 to 4:30. And there's the link. I also emailed you the link. You are welcome to join. You also can always just email me a question if you have a question. I will do my best. And if you don't hear from me, like you always tell, you should just nag me. Email me again. Hey, I didn't hear from you. I'm pretty good at answering emails, but we're all people. So in the odd reason I didn't respond, just email me again. So this is our last slide. As a result of this webinar, what next step will you take to prepare for the Tennessee Teacher of the Year process? Marty, it's going to be on Wednesday next week. Whatever Wednesday's date is, it's next Wednesday. Completing the application. Good documentation. Come to the next webinar. We will go over a lot more details about the application in the next webinar. Documents, brainstorming. Completing the application. I think as Missy will say, we don't want to be like our students and procrastinate. We want to start ahead of the day before. So all the webinars are recorded. It may take me, I mean, I have to send it to our comms people to get it put up on a YouTube link. So it takes a hot minute for it to come back. It's about a week if everybody's in office. But they are recorded and I will get those recordings to you. So if you're not there, I will do my best to get it to you as quickly as possible. I do believe last year's recordings may still be up on the website. And again, the information is the same, dates change. That's really the biggest change. Supporting documents. I will say, as you are working, one of the best ways is if you get really stuck, go find a teacher friend, and they also can help you. When you say, what do I do really well? They will also be able to tell you, and that will help jog your memory. Because sometimes, like Morgan and Missy were talking about, we have a hard time thinking of like really tooting our own horns, right? Like we're not good at that. It's in our nature. And so just if you do get stuck, just go ask a friend, phone a friend. Okay, that's the end of this one. I can tell you it was pretty quick. So thank you for coming. I'm going to stop the recording here in just a second. Again, if you have any questions, please email me or hop on. You can email me, hop on the office hours. And okay, I'm going to stop the recording.